The agories or agoris of Kashi, also known as Varanasi, are an ascetic sect of Hinduism known for their unconventional practices and spiritual beliefs. They belong to the Shaiva tradition, focusing on devotion to Lord Shiva in his fearsome form of Bhairava. Here are some intriguing and lesser-known aspects of the Agori way of life. Agoris believe that life and death are illusions and part of the same cycle. They often meditate in cremation grounds or shamshan to confront and transcend the fear of mortality, using death as a tool for spiritual growth. Agoris purposely defy societal conventions to achieve detachment from the material world. They are often seen smearing ashes from cremated bodies on themselves, as they view ashes as the ultimate truth, representing the transient nature of human existence. Known for rituals that involve substances considered taboo, like human flesh and alcohol, agoris consume these as offerings to Shiva. For them, breaking taboos symbolizes breaking attachments to the material world, ego, and social restrictions. This is not done for indulgence, but as a test of overcoming aversions and desires. Agoris sometimes consume small portions of human flesh from cremation grounds, but only with the belief that it purifies them and helps in their transcendental journey. This act is rare and symbolic, meant to destroy fear and attachment to the body, helping them view all matter as part of Shiva. Agoris are known for their healing abilities, as they use alchemical practices and meditation techniques to channel energy for curing ailments. Many people seek their help, believing they possess powers to heal both physical and psychological issues. Some agoris practice Tantra for this purpose. Agoris believe in oneness with Shiva, and they perform intense meditation and yoga to attain moksha or liberation. Their practices focus on breaking the cycle of rebirth and achieving spiritual enlightenment. Apart from being ardent Shiva devotees, agoris revere Lord Dattatreya, who is considered a combined incarnation of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. They see him as the embodiment of the Guru and the perfect yogi, wandering through graveyards to find wisdom and detachment. Agoris aim to dissolve dualistic perceptions of good and bad, pure and impure, beautiful and ugly. They see the divine in everything, including things society labels as impure or sinister. For them, nothing is inherently evil because all forms are aspects of Shiva. Agoris often live in seclusion, away from societal comforts, to maintain intense focus on their spiritual journey. They renounce family ties, wealth and personal belongings, living a life of extreme asceticism to remain free of material attachments. Agoris are believed to have roots in the ancient Kapalika sect, which existed during the medieval period and was known for worshipping Bhairava and other fierce forms of Shiva. The Kapalikas, like Agoris, were known for their rituals that challenged social norms, often carrying a skull bowl or kapala as a symbol of renunciation. The Agori way of life is a powerful, complex path that few understand. They serve as a reminder of the diversity in Hindu spirituality, emphasizing liberation, fearlessness, and the belief that divinity pervades every aspect of life. Their practices remain shrouded in mystery and are respected but often misunderstood. Popular doubt: are agoris immortal? Agoris are not considered immortal in the literal sense. However, they do engage in practices aimed at transcending the limitations of the physical body and achieving a state of spiritual liberation, known as moksha. Agoris believe that through intense meditation, self-discipline and ritual, they can attain a form of spiritual immortality by merging with Shiva, who represents the eternal, formless aspect of reality. Here's how agoris view and approach the concept of immortality. Agoris focus on overcoming the fear of death by immersing themselves in practices that bring them face to face with mortality, such as meditating in cremation grounds. They aim to cultivate a state of mind where death holds no power over them, seeing the end of the physical body as just another part of the life cycle. Agoris seek moksha, which they see as liberation from the cycle of rebirth. In their understanding, Achieving moksha means they will not be reborn and will instead unite with the divine consciousness of Shiva, attaining a state beyond life and death, a form of immortality in a spiritual rather than physical sense. Some agories practice esoteric forms of yoga and alchemy with the aim of extending their physical lifespan. They believe that certain yogic practices like Kundalini awakening and breath control help to preserve vitality and possibly extend life. However, their ultimate goal is not physical immortality, but spiritual enlightenment. For agories, merging with Shiva, who represents the eternal, is the ultimate form of immortality. By dissolving their individual identities into the infinite, they believe they achieve a state of immortality that goes beyond the physical plane. Some stories and legends describe agories who are said to have lived for extraordinarily long periods or to possess mystical abilities. While these are often based on anecdotal evidence and spiritual lore, they reflect the belief that agories, through their practices, transcend ordinary human limitations. In summary, agories are not physically immortal, but they pursue a form of spiritual immortality through union with Shiva. This state is beyond life and death, achieving liberation from rebirth and reaching a timeless existence within the divine. Agories do not feed on the dead as a regular means of sustenance. However, certain agori practices do include ritualistic acts that involve the use of human remains, particularly as a symbolic gesture to challenge social norms and confront taboos. Here are some insights into why agoris engage in these rare acts and what they signify. Agoris believe that all material things are manifestations of Shiva, including human bodies. By sometimes consuming small portions of flesh from deceased bodies found in cremation grounds, agoris aim to symbolically break the boundaries between purity and impurity and to dissolve dualistic distinctions. However, this practice is extremely rare and performed only in a ritualistic context, not as a regular source of food. Agoris engage in certain acts that society considers taboo, like handling or consuming remains, as a way to transcend attachment to the body, aversions, and the fear of death. The intention behind this is purely spiritual, to remind themselves that the human form is temporary and that clinging to social conditioning hinders spiritual freedom. The agori diet is usually simple, consisting of easily available foods such as fruits, vegetables, and offerings from people. Agoris are not sustained by flesh, nor is cannibalism a central practice. Rather, most agoris lead a minimalist lifestyle, consuming only what is necessary to survive and focusing on meditation and other ascetic practices. While cannibalistic acts are often sensationalized, most agoris do not engage in regular or habitual consumption of human flesh. Instances of agoris engaging with human remains are typically for ceremonial purposes and are often exaggerated in popular depictions. Most agoris respect the sanctity of life and death and do not harm others or feed on the dead to sustain themselves. The agori philosophy holds that everything in existence is sacred, as all creation is seen as part of Shiva. By performing rituals with human remains, they attempt to internalize the idea of divine oneness, removing the concept of otherness, and embracing the totality of existence as divine. Agoris do not feed on the dead for sustenance. On rare occasions, they may perform symbolic rituals involving human remains as a means of confronting the concepts of life and death, purity and impurity, and the attachment to the physical self. These practices are misunderstood by outsiders and represent only a small part of agori beliefs focused on overcoming fear, embracing mortality, and attaining